Stop chasing the validation of people who fundamentally just don't care about you. If you were to die, they wouldn't care. I remember with my recent heartbreak that I had this year, it was like my first real love, like heartbreak. Like I was going through it. Like I was in a lot of pain, I can't lie. And I remember like at first I kind of pushed it away. You guys know the whole story. Got cheated on, got lied to about getting cheated on, got gaslighted to believe was something else that I can't really get into details on YouTube, but you guys can read between the lines. Got proof that it was a willing choice. And just overall, it was this massive back and forth that really fucked with my head. But even after I figured out that this person lied to me, they cheated on me, they lied to me about stuff during the relationship, they just overall wasn't a good person. Why did I feel the need that I wanted to go back to them? Another instance of this is I had a friend that I was friends with for like almost 2 years. When I started my channel, a lot of people don't know, I used to make different types of videos. He was like a good friend. He reached out. It was like when I was coming up, I was first blowing up, doing the different type of content, and he was really present. He was really there. He was always like asking me how I was doing. It felt like more of a big brother relationship. And literally a year ago, he just ghosted me. I remember this happened during the toxic relationship that I went through as well. And I remember I got so obsessed, right? I started phoning him tons of times, like back to back, numerous days, right? I just started phoning him because this is like my best friend. You know, I'm thinking, what's happening? The guy lives quite a few, you know, he lives decently far away from me, right? I stay like in Scotland, he stays in England. So the guy lives a decent amount away from me. And then I just keep phoning. I Snapchat him. I WhatsApp call him. I do everything in my power, everything you can believe, everything humanly possible to show that, you know, I wanted to get in contact with him. Because in my mind, I assumed that the only reason why that person could just disappear out of my life like that is because he either is dead, maybe he killed himself, or like something bad happened or whatever, right? Not for a second did I just assume he just didn't want to be in my life anymore for no reason whatsoever. Like none. And I'm an honest person. I think the whole point of this channel is to be honest. Like I've admitted some stuff that most people wouldn't admit on a YouTube video because I'm trying to make this more of a personal self-development, not even self-development, just honesty channel. But yeah, like the guy just left my life, bruv. It was like my older brother just vanished, bruv. Like a person that I would go to him for help on everything. Just like that, he's just gone out of my life. He's just no longer present. And yeah, it sucked. I remember I was still in this delusional like mindset that like something happened, or maybe if I keep phoning him, maybe if I keep reaching out, he'll eventually care. But I remember one time I must have saw that he viewed my story, right? This was on Instagram. So up until this point, I thought he was either dead or maybe he lost his phone or something mad happened. But I saw he actually viewed my story. He'd stopped viewing my stories for a while. The minute I see it, I instantly go to his DM him, call him, like just, I can't lie, I'm moving like some girl, but you know what it is. And yeah, no response. And it was that day that I realized he didn't leave because he had some problems. He didn't ghost me because of whatever. He ghosted me just because he was like, I don't really fuck with this nigga no more. And I don't have the balls to really say why or whatever. And he just decided to leave. With the heartbreak, back to the heartbreak situation, you know, when the first feelings and waves of like, you know, missing the person happened, I was a wreck. I was calling them, I was messaging back. And keep in mind, I broke up with them for cheating. They wanted me back first. And then I kind of pushed them away. And then there was a point where I literally came crawling back. Like, you guys don't do what I did. I would WhatsApp call them from 7 a.m. to like 3 p.m. consistently, like every 20 minutes, just for them to like respond. I would constantly beg and ask for another chance. I'd constantly beg and ask to see them. I'd constantly apologize for things that, looking back, I didn't need to apologize for. They were the one in the wrong. That's another thing. When people do stuff like that, or when people leave my life, I always assume it's my fault. I always assume I did something. But a lot of the time, it's really just an issue with that person. But anyway, I'm calling, I'm texting, right? And then eventually it gets to the point where the new guy she's replaced me with just starts responding to the messages. And at that point, you can guess it was just toxic. A lot of back and forth, a lot of flexing, a lot of kind of making fun of the fact that I actually cared, a lot of stupid shit like that. And yeah, man. And after that, I wish I could say that that was the last time that I reached out, but sometimes the hardest lessons require you to be broken, not even broken, but just you to be repeatedly reminded about the truth. I feel like in life, the biggest teacher is experience and the biggest teacher is pain, right? If I have a kitchen and I have a stove and I turn on the kitchen and I tell you not to touch the stove, you're probably gonna touch the stove if you're a little child or you don't know what the dangers of doing that might be. But the second you get burnt, you will now have a visceral reaction not to do it. But the thing is, even though I got hurt, I didn't get truly burnt for a while. It takes me a long time. So anyway, just like with my friend, obviously I didn't instantly get over this person no longer being in my life. I thought about them a lot, dreams. And a lot of the thought cycles were me romanticizing parts that weren't even good to begin with. Me romanticizing aspects that were never good and they were never anything that you should romanticize in the first place. They're not anything that you should actually want. You know what I mean? And it was all because I didn't have a frame of reference for what a healthy relationship even was, because it was my first. And I just kept reminding myself of the good memories. But the thing is, you can't do that. There's so much negative shit that when you're caught in this cycle of romanticizing this person just because you're lonely, that you miss. And it causes this feedback loop where you're missing this person, you want this person back in your life. But to be honest with you, whether they did you wrong or whether you did them right, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is who moves on, who's able to rebuild themselves the best. That's all that matters. You in your mind, when you start thinking about all the good memories, you trick yourself into thinking they're thinking about you the same way. And 9 times out of 10, I gotta be honest, guys, they're not thinking about you. Stop watching videos about, stop watching these videos about 3 signs your ex is gonna break no contact. You're not even a concern in their head. They genuinely, like, if you were to die tomorrow, I would go out on the limb and say, at least with my experience, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. But we put ourselves in this delusional state because we can't handle being alone, where we make this person a lot bigger than what they actually are. But the truth is that they don't care about you. And you don't care about you, because if you cared about you, why would you care about somebody that actively chose not to value you?